Hello, magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Shannon and Megan.
Hi, everyone.
Also known as the Scorpio Sisters, here to explore the mysterious, the magical, and the arcane.
When we are examining superstition around culture, folklore, and spirituality, it's important to understand the origin. Is the origin based in fear, or is the origin based in the practical? Fear-based and safety-based are two different things, because fear-based is baseless. It doesn't have a real reason. It's mostly just, like you were saying, Shannon, we don't understand why this is going on, and we're not going to look into it because I'm afraid of new things. So we're going to create a body of superstition around this new thing that we've encountered, and that's going to be that. Whereas some of the other superstitions that we've talked about, especially the ones having to do with genius loci, where I grew up, there is a very deep practical reason for each one of those superstitions.
Yeah.
And that's not the only culture that has those things. There's the Celtic and especially Irish tradition of setting out gifts and treasures for the fair folk, and even calling fairies the fair folk, good neighbors, the fair.
Yep. You never enter a fairy ring without explicit invitation and people around you to pull you out when necessary.
Because it will be.
I've been to Ireland a few times. I resonate with it as a home. You go to some places sometimes and it just resonates as home. And Ireland is that for me, but still it's a ring of trees. Yep. Not my territory. I'm not going there.
And that's cultural. It's based in the spirituality of that place, because spiritually speaking, the fairies, the fae ones, you need to respect them. And interestingly enough, a lot of the rules in Great Britain, especially in Scotland and in the Appalachian Mountains, are the same because they are the same mountains.
Yeah.
When the islands broke away from the larger land mass, they took some of the mountains with them. So they're the same mountains. They have the same energy.
It would be interesting to know whether the mountains in Morocco have similar rules, because they're also part of the same mountain chain.
Yeah, I honestly don't know anything about that. So that would be interesting to look into at some point. Yeah. Anyone who knows about the mountains in Morocco who wants to drop us a message, let us know.
Yeah, that would be extremely interesting, just to see if Pangea stuff is still holding strong everywhere. An association with the Appalachian.
Yep. So the question becomes, what do we do with this information? It's interesting to study. It's important to know if you live in any of these areas. But as people who use magic, why is this important information to have? One of the biggest reasons is one that we've already kind of stated, is why is this a superstition exist? That way you will know whether or not it's something that is valid, or whether it's something that you need to peel the onion on and discover if there is a deeper spiritual practice that's actually being hidden under the superstition. Much like Friday the 13th, I did some diving into that, and I work with Freya. So now it is a time for me to work with her, because that's originally what it was for.
Yeah, to resonate with the divine feminine and the divine receptive energies, magnetic energy.
Exactly.
One of the methods to figure out or evaluate whether or not a cultural superstition resonates with you or for you is whether or not you use it in aesthetic design. My family, we have a lot of superstitions in general, but a lot of the stuff that we have superstitions around end up being also part of our interior design aesthetic. So we have a shillelagh, or a Irish wooden hammer, that hangs over an archway, and it's there as an aesthetic and honoring of our culture, our Irish heritage, more than it is for any other reason. For a very long period of time, my family chose to decorate the living areas of the home in white, green, and black, maybe some brown.
There's a lot of contrast to that.
Yeah,
It's really dark.
it's almost harsh,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also very Irish color scheme. There's a lot of Irish cob homes that were whitewashed, and green is prevalent in Ireland. Just in case anyone doesn't know, there are at least a million shades of green in Ireland. So it was for a very long period of time the aesthetic of our family to have that very contrasting and heralding back to a piece of our lineage. And the Irish shillelagh was part of that. It was part of the aesthetic. We also had leprechaun figures, like porcelain pieces that were gifts, and those also had some kind of superstition behind them that my family didn't follow as a superstition, but it was there for aesthetic purposes of, well, this is our aesthetic, this is what we're going with, we're designing with this, let's roll with it.
Yeah.
And superstitions that I do know we had as superstition and as a aesthetic design, horseshoes in Pennsylvania, where we had land.
Mm-hmm.
They would be hung over the doorways on the interior of the house. And they were there to set up a boundary to keep things that did not like iron out.
Mm-hmm.
So they were actually a barrier design element, but they would also come down. We would take them down and play horseshoes with them before one of the aunts would reposition them after doing some thing behind everyone's back to them. I only caught a glimpse of it happening once. And it looked like there was an anointing happening, and then they would go back up onto the archways over the doors, the thresholds.
So she consecrated them and put them back.
Reestablishing or strengthening a ward barrier system.
I wonder if part of the reason you were allowed to play with them was because it was believed that it kind of recharged everything a little bit.
Oh, probably. They may not have even known that's the reason why they were doing it. So they were just doing it because it felt right. Or at least most of them were doing it because it felt right. And one of them was probably leading it, knowing what the hell they were doing. But I wouldn't be surprised. Go play with them, go recharge them, and then we'll reconsecrate, re-anoint them, and hang them back up for the next time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be one of the methods to figure out if the superstition resonates with you, is how are you using it for aesthetically speaking? How are you using it in design? And do you even know where the design is coming from? The superstition behind the design is coming from. Like, I don't know why the shillelagh is there. I could look it up, but I don't feel the need to. It's just a piece of family aesthetic that's honoring a lineage to one of our many, many ancestors. I'm sure if I found something that had to do with our Puerto Rican ancestor, it would end up being somewhere in our house as part of our aesthetic. It's not hard to believe anyway.
Right. Does it resonate with you? Does it gel with the energy that you're trying to honor, both within and without yourself? One of the superstitions that comes from the Catholic tradition and is followed by a lot of the people in my wife's family is that you keep a crucifix in your kitchen.
Mm.
My wife's parents have a crucifix in their kitchen. They don't do anything else that's overtly Catholic, which is fine. There's absolutely no judgment there, but it's purely for the superstition of having it there, that they have it there. And I know that there are people on that side of the family who would be appalled that we don't have a crucifix in our kitchen. Well, there's no reason for us to. Neither one of us is a Christian. And even when I was still trying to practice Christianity, I was Protestant. And in Protestant Christianity, you don't use the crucifix. So it still wouldn't have made any sense.
We don't have a crucifix in our kitchen either, just so you know.
So maybe that's more of a regional thing.
Or it didn't jive with the aesthetic that we were going for, which was Irish.
That's very possible as well. Make sure that any superstition that you choose to honor is not a tool or a weapon against yourself. Make sure it doesn't become a source of shame or a source of self-harm for you, or a way of exercising scarcity mindset. Because if you don't kiss your hand and tap it on the roof of your car going under a yellow light, which is something that we do in my little family with my wife, it's not going to be the end of the world. But if you work yourself up into a paranoia that now something bad is going to happen because you didn't do that, then that's probably going to come true, because where we place our focus is what we experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to carry out these traditions and honor them, but
don't be ruled by them.
Exactly. Don't be trapped inside of them. Because ultimately, you can always break these traditions. You can always form something new that suits you.
Mm-hmm. And this is just one element of the things that you might choose to keep or to grow.
So that's all we have on our topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again soon. In the meantime, you can follow us for more witchy wisdom, both here and on our blog, and you can also check out our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thanks again for joining us. Go make some magic and live your best life.
Bye!